as well. I mean, a lot of us put a lot of emphasis on working out in the gym.
Right.
Yeah. Now, how do you work out your mind? How do you work out your brain? Because your brain has muscles. Yeah. Your mind needs to be invigorated, needs to be inspired. Yeah. So how do you train these things? How do you work these things out? Yeah. And the training for the mind is reading. Training for the mind is solving puzzles, is doing quizzes. Do you know what I mean? Is learning something new. Yeah. Just as if I'm lecturing and I like it, just as you like to go to the gym to make your chest look big or to make your arms look really muscly, yeah, in order to make sure that your mind is constantly growing and those muscles are constantly working in your brain, reading's the gym.
Reading. Okay then. I want to focus on what's happening in London in terms of look at the future of London, or what's your perspective in terms of what you'd like to see in London from a, just keep it local here.
Well, we can do London. Yeah, I mean, we'll touch on local issues as well. But I mean, London's a great city, one of the major cities of the world.
Right.
Yeah. London has so much talent, and the problem you normally find, or I normally find going out there, is that talent doesn't necessarily have all the opportunities to express itself. Yeah. Sorry, my phone's going off in the background there. All right, and not only doesn't that talent necessarily have the opportunity to express itself, also in the thinking of our major corporations, companies, institutions is very rigid.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't think outside of the box.
Okay.
Yeah, and in doing so, there's an awful lot of talent in London, north, south, east, and west, that basically doesn't get utilized, or sometimes doesn't even see the light of day. Yeah. London on a whole at this present time is on the cusp of some very exciting times, bearing in mind that the whole world will be coming to London in 2012 for something called the Olympic Games. All right, but the thing about things like the Olympic Games, we're seeing the World Cup currently in South Africa, these major mega money making events, is that a lot of the locals, i.e. a lot of the people in the UK, in South Africa, etc., will not be benefiting from that event, because that event is very much corporate. It's often called at a community level, all right, the rich are the ones that are earning, and the poor, are basically, can you get out of the way, please, because we don't want you messing up the surrounding. When it's people. Do you know what I mean? Whether you've got money, having money doesn't make you better than somebody who doesn't have money. Do you see what I'm saying to you? And that's the unfortunate thing. The unfortunate thing, I mean, if people were to do their research, don't believe a word of what we're telling you. If you was to check things out like previous Olympic Games and previous World Cups, what was their legacies? What did they actually leave that country? Because to put on these major events, the taxpayers of that country have to pay for these events. Yeah, the organisers, be it your Olympic Organising Committee or your IAAF, if it was the World Championships in Athletics, or your Olympic Games Committee, etc., they make huge sums of monies from corporate advertising. All right, not only from corporate advertising, but from marketing, their logos, their brands, etc., etc., etc. And we're often told, especially by politicians, that from the monies being earned at the top end, it will now start to filter down through to the bottom end. But we don't actually find this happening. And it was very interesting ourselves to go to Atlanta, where they held the 1996 Olympics. And when you actually take a look in Atlanta at where they built this huge Olympic park and this huge Olympic stadium, it doesn't get used. The facilities don't get used. Yeah,
right.
maybe you get used once a year. I mean, I was fortunate enough to go to Atlanta for Atlanta Carnival. Yeah, and the carnival was actually held around the Olympic complex. Yeah, but on any other given day, there is nothing really happening apart from big corporate conferences. But the community at large are not getting the use of those facilities. Yet it's being put in an area where, and we're told beforehand, in inverted commas I may add, that it's going to hugely benefit, the city or the community or the country, So once again, when we're taking a look at these mega events, I mean, which, yes, sport can galvanize and unify. I mean, being someone who's heavily involved in sport and seeing how the power of sport can uplift, especially our young, not only uplift our young, but people whose lives may not be going in the direction that they choose for it to go or that they wanted for it to go. It can be such an upliftment and inspiration to get somebody moving once again, towards their goals, and it's just so unfortunate at this present time that the primary motivating factor is money.
Right.
How much is it going to cost? How much can we make?
That's right.
You know, it doesn't seem to be people. It doesn't seem to be the impact, inspiration and effect it can actually have on people's lives in helping people's lives.
Let me see if I can add something here, my brother, because you give us some kind of clarity there. And what can we do, you reckon? Because now the Olympics coming just around the corner now, right? What can we do as a community to benefit from the Olympics? Well,
what we first got to ask is what we're going to get for our money, because we're told that the Olympics is going to benefit the whole of the United Kingdom.
Right.
The whole of the United Kingdom is not paying for the Olympics.
Right.
It's primarily falling on Londoners.
Right.
Yeah. Yet there are events that will be taking place in other areas other than London. Yeah. The local businesses. I mean, we're in just like a local barbershop shop. Yeah. We like to think that. We're in a great little market hall where it is like the hubbub of just individual people trying to create businesses, for themselves and their families. Yeah. They won't get anything. They won't benefit from this Olympics.
Right.
Yeah, in any way, form, or shape. Yeah, you have a rich, diverse mix of different communities, races, and cultures in London. Most of them will not benefit in any form, shape, or way from the Olympics. Yeah, so we've got to ask, being as we're being asked to pay for it, and to subsidise what are we actually getting for our money? And I don't think that's being rude.
No.
I don't think that's upsetting the party. Some may see like we're trying to be controversial, but as you can see, we're laughing at it, because any normal person common sense, if you part with your money, you want to know what you're getting for it, unless you are donating it towards a good cause.
Yeah,
you hear what we're saying to you?
I hear you, my brother. I hear you.
We did some work with a great magazine that tried to get off the ground, Engage magazine, where we looked quite in an in-depth manner at the Olympics. We looked at quite an in-depth manner at the Olympic contracts in trying to get and garner business for communities of colour, be it the Asian community, the Chinese community, the African community, the Caribbean community, etc., etc. The process in which you have to go through in order to garner these contracts, that in itself, that process in itself is quite challenging. It's extremely challenging. And then now when you do get through this process, all right, you now have to get through that. Do you have the ability to cater for the volume of consumers, the volume of people that